Have you ever paused to ask yourself why God is whispering to you today? Stop looking for a job, because the very word job has kept countless people bound, confined, and enslaved to a system that was never meant to set them free. God never created you to live as a servant to men, dependent on their approval, anxious for their wages, or fearful of being replaced. He is saying right now, your provision does not come from a job. Your destiny is not tied to a company. Your future does not rest in the hands of another person. Your destiny rests in God's hands, the creator of heaven and earth, the one who provides in ways no employer ever could. Many of you have been searching, striving, knocking on doors, sending countless resumes, and waiting for opportunities that never come. You've been hoping for a small salary that cannot even sustain the vision God planted inside you. And you wonder why the doors keep closing. It's because God Himself is closing them. He is saying, I did not design you to beg at the tables of men. I created you to sit at mine, to walk in my abundance, and to live under my provision. When you chase after a job, you're chasing after a man's ability to feed you. But when you turn your eyes to God, you connect to the limitless supply of heaven. Every job has limits. Every employer has boundaries. They can only give so much. They can cut you off, cap your income, and contain your dream. But God has no limits. When He becomes your source, when He becomes your provider, and when you depend solely on Him, your stream will never run dry. The doors will never stay shut. The blessings will never cease. God is saying, stop asking men to do what only I can do. Stop shrinking your vision to fit into their system. Stop chasing positions that cannot hold the weight of your calling. You were never called to live a life of wages. You were called to live a life of purpose. God never designed you to work merely for survival. He designed you to fulfill destiny, to walk in abundance, and to release His divine power into the earth. A job might feed your body, but only God's plan can feed your soul. A job might give you a paycheck, but only God's vision can bring you true prosperity. That's why you feel restless. That's why, no matter how many jobs you take, something still feels missing, empty, unfulfilled. Deep inside, God is whispering, this is not your portion. This is not your final destination. I have called you higher. I have called you to trust me, not man. The world system wants to convince you that without a job, you are nothing, that you are poor, that you are a failure. But God is breaking that lie over your life today. Your worth is not tied to a company. Your value is not defined by a title. Your success is not measured by a salary. God says, I am your provider. When you look for a job, you're searching for man's crumbs. But when you look to God, He opens the windows of heaven and pours out blessings that overflow. Some of you are in a season where every door of employment seems closed. You've applied and been rejected. You've tried and failed. You've waited and waited, yet nothing seems to move. But that's not rejection, it's divine redirection. God is positioning you to depend not on man's system, but on heaven's supply. If this message spoke to your heart, subscribe for more divine encouragement and share this word with someone who needs to hear it today. Write, I trust God's plan, or I choose destiny, in the comments to declare your faith and agreement with this message. And you thought it was the devil. You thought it was bad luck. But hear this truth today, was God. God Himself shut those doors because He refuses to let you settle for less than what He destined for you. Those closed doors weren't punishment. They were protection. God closed them because He doesn't want you to depend on man's system. He closed them because He is positioning you to witness His power, His provision, and His faithfulness in your life. So now the question stands, will you keep chasing after men, or will you lift your eyes to God? Will you keep begging for jobs, or will you embrace the divine vision He has planted inside of you? Will you keep running after salaries, or will you allow God to be your source? God is not calling you to laziness. He is calling you to alignment. He is saying, stop chasing jobs and start chasing purpose. Stop depending on men and start depending on me. Stop running after positions and start walking in the destiny I designed for you before you were born. A job is temporary. It can vanish overnight. A company may lay you off, but God will never lay you off from your calling. A boss may replace you, but no one can ever replace you in the plan of God. That's why He says, do not look for a job, look to me. Seek me. Trust me. Follow me, depend on me, and I will open doors no man can shut. I will release provision from unexpected places. I will make a way in the wilderness and cause rivers to flow in dry places. God is raising you to see beyond the mindset of wages and survival. Many are struggling today because their minds are still trapped in the system of dependency, believing that if they just get the right job, their life will be secure. But security doesn't come from a paycheck. Security comes from God. You think that if a certain company hires you, you'll have peace. But peace isn't in employment. Peace is in His presence. That's why God keeps saying, do not look for a job. Look for my plan. Look for my vision. Look for the assignment I created you to fulfill. You may ask, but if I don't look for a job, how will I live? How will I feed my family? How will I survive? And God responds, did I not feed my people in the wilderness for 40 years? Did I not send ravens to feed my prophet Elijah? Do you not believe that I can do it for you? Stop asking how and start trusting who. God is saying, I am the one who provides in ways no man can predict. I am the one who supplies from sources you cannot see. I am the one who makes the impossible possible. That restlessness you feel deep inside, it's not random. It's not frustration. It's divine stirring. You sense it because your spirit knows you were not created just to sit behind a desk, to follow orders, or to trade your divine potential for a wage. You are created for more, born for impact, for vision, for kingdom purpose. It's not your imagination. It's the voice of God calling you. Rise up. Break free. Stop looking for a job and start walking into your purpose. Stop searching for men to sustain you and let me become your source. If you felt God's presence while listening, subscribe now and share this word to spread faith and freedom. Common God is my source, so I walk in purpose to seal this prophetic word over your life. And you thought it was the devil. You thought it was bad luck. But hear this truth today. It was God. God Himself shut doors because He refuses to let you settle for less than what He destined for you. Those closed doors weren't punishment, they were protection. God closed them because He doesn't want you to depend on man's system. He closed them because He is positioning you to witness His power, His provision, and His faithfulness in your life. So now the question stands, will you keep chasing after men, or will you lift your eyes to God? Will you keep begging for jobs, or will you embrace the divine vision He has planted inside of you? Will you keep running after salaries, or will you allow God to be your source? God is not calling you to laziness. He is calling you to alignment. He is saying, stop chasing jobs and start chasing purpose. Stop depending on men and start depending on me. Stop running after positions and start walking in the destiny I designed for you before you were born. A job is temporary. It can vanish overnight. But the vision of God is eternal. A company may lay you off, but God will never lay you off from your calling. A boss may replace you, but no one can ever replace you in the plan of God. That's why He says, do not look for a job, look to me. Seek me, trust me, follow me, depend on me, and I will open doors no man can shut. I will release provision from unexpected places. I will make a way in the wilderness and cause rivers to flow in dry places. God is raising you to see beyond the mindset of wages and survival. Many are struggling today because their minds are still trapped in the system of dependency, believing that if they just get the right job, their life will be secure. But security doesn't come from a paycheck. Security comes from God. You think that if a certain company hires you, you'll have peace. But peace isn't in employment. Peace is in His presence. That's why God keeps saying, do not look for a job. Look for my plan. Look for my vision. Look for the assignment I created you to fulfill. You may ask, but if I don't look for a job, how will I live? How will I feed my family? How will I survive? And God responds, did I not feed my people in the wilderness for 40 years? Did I not send manna from heaven and water from a rock? Did I not multiply the oil in the widow's jar? Did I not send ravens to feed my prophet Elijah? Do you not believe that I can do it for you? Stop asking how and start trusting who. God is saying, I am the one who provides in ways no man can predict. I am the one who supplies from sources you cannot see. I am the one who makes the impossible possible. That restlessness you feel deep inside, it's not random, it's not frustration, it's divine stirring. You sense it because your spirit knows you were not created just to sit behind a desk, to follow orders, or to trade your divine potential for a wage. You were created for more, born for impact, for vision, for kin. Dom purpose, that voice inside of you. It's not your imagination. It's the voice of God calling you. Rise up. Break free. Stop looking for a job and start walking into your purpose. Stop searching for men to sustain you, and let me become your source. Then listen closely, because God is speaking to your spirit right now. He is saying, do not limit me to the systems of this world. Do not confine my power to office walls, human signatures, or corporate promises. I am greater than all of them. I am the one who opens doors no man can close. And I am the one who closes doors no man can open. I am not bound by the economy. I am not controlled by governments. I am not restricted by inflation or recession. I am God, and I remain the same yesterday, today, and forever. God is saying, do not look for a job. Look to me, for I am your everlasting provider. Many people run from place to place searching for stability, but they end up weary, empty, and broken because they're looking for it where it doesn't exist. The stability of man is fragile. The opportunities of man are temporary. The favor of man can change overnight. But the provision of God is unshakable, eternal, and overflowing. When God declares He will take care of you, He doesn't depend on any earthly system to make it happen. He can send blessings through means no one can explain. He can raise you from the dust and seat you among kings. He can turn scarcity into abundance. He can bring water out of a rock. He can command creation itself to respond to your need. That's why He says, do not waste your life begging for jobs when I have already prepared a destiny for you. The world wants you dependent, tied to paychecks, locked into routines, trapped in cycles of survival until your strength is gone. But God wants you free. He wants you to depend only on Him. He wants you to live not from paycheck to paycheck, but from glory to glory. He wants you to experience the richness of His provision, not the crumbs that fall from man's table. That's why rejection sometimes happens. That's why certain applications fail, interviews collapse, and doors shut right in your face. It's not punishment, it's redirection. God allows it because He's cutting off your dependence on man and shifting your eyes back to Him. The truth is, a job can make you comfortable, but it can also make you complacent. A job can give you food, but it can bury your calling. A job can give you security, but it can also suffocate your destiny. That's why God says, do not look for a job, look for my plan. When you follow God's plan, your provision is tied to your obedience. Your prosperity flows from your purpose. Your blessings are unlocked by your faith. And when you live this way, no man, no company, no economy can stop what God is doing in your life. Think about it. God never created Adam and Eve to have jobs. He created them to rule, to manage, to multiply, and to expand the garden He placed them in. That wasn't employment. It was a divine mandate. It wasn't labor for wages. It was destiny in motion. In the same way, you were not created merely to clock in and clock out, to survive until the end of your days. You were created to walk in authority, to manage the gifts He placed within you, to multiply the talents He entrusted to you, and to manifest His glory on earth. That's why a job will never fully satisfy you, because you were not born to be employed by men. You were born to be employed by God. When He says, do not look for a job, He's not calling you to idleness. He's calling you to rise into your true work, the divine assignment He designed for you before you were even born. Some of you have talents buried beneath the weight of job hunting. Some of you have gifts suffocating under the pressure of fitting into systems God never designed for you. But now God is awakening those gifts again. He is stirring those talents within you once more. He is saying, It's time to rise. It's time to walk in what I created you to do. It's time to stop chasing jobs and start fulfilling your purpose. God is saying, stop burying what I gave you. Stop wasting what I placed in your hands. Stop begging men for wages when I already gave you the power to create wealth through the gifts I placed within you. Your gift is not a hobby. It is a key. It is the divine channel through which God intends to provide for you, bless you, and elevate you. Your talent is not decoration. It is assignment. Never despise what God has given you. Never compare it to what others have. Never call it small. Because when you place even the smallest gift in God's hands, it becomes a river of abundance. If God could take a shepherd's rod and turn it into a staff that splits seas, if he could take a widow's jar of oil and multiply it until every debt was paid, if he could take 5 loaves and 2 fish and feed thousands, then what can he not do with the gift he placed inside of you? That's why God is saying, do not look for a job. Look at what I placed inside of you. Look at the vision I wrote upon your heart. Look at the talent I entrusted to your hands. When you depend on jobs, you depend on salaries. But when you depend on God, you depend on streams. Salaries are limited. They end. They're fixed. They can be stopped. But the streams of God's provision never run dry. God can use your gift to open streams from places you never imagined. He can send opportunities you didn't have to chase. He can cause nations to call your name. He can make the work of your hands fruitful beyond your imagination. This is exactly why the enemy wants to keep you chasing jobs. Because he knows that as long as you chase jobs, you will stay within limits. But when you embrace God's purpose, you step into limitless supply. Do not misunderstand this word. God is not against work. He is against slavery to man's system. God is not against effort. He is against fear-driven survival. Work becomes holy when it flows from purpose. Labor becomes honorable when it flows from destiny. But work without vision is bondage. Labor without God's direction is slavery. That's why he says, do not look for a job. Look for your assignment, for inside your assignment lies your abundance. Inside your assignment lies your joy. Inside your assignment lies your freedom. Some of you have been sitting for years on the very ideas God gave you. But fear has kept you chained to the security of a job. You've said, what if I fail? What if it doesn't work? But hear this. When God gives the idea, the provision is already attached. When God gives the vision, the resources are already waiting. When God gives the assignment, He has already gone ahead of you to prepare the way. All He needs is your obedience. All He asks for is your faith. All He's waiting for is for you to say, God, I will trust you more than I trust a paycheck. Do not think you are too weak. Do not think you are unqualified. Do not think you are too small. Because when God becomes your employer, He trains you, He equips you, He strengthens you, and He multiplies what you have. The world may look at you and see nothing, but God looks at you and sees nations inside you. He looks at you and sees rivers ready to flow out of you. You are not empty. You are not ordinary. You are filled with divine potential. And God is saying, it's time to stop looking for a job and start releasing what I placed inside of you. God looks at you and sees generations destined to be blessed through your obedience. That is why His voice comes to you today with such urgency. Do not waste your life chasing jobs. Fix your eyes on Him. Walk in His calling, trust His provision. Step into His purpose. For He alone is your true source, and He will never fail you. This is not the voice of human wisdom. It is the divine stirring of the Spirit calling you deeper. God says, I have not called you to spend your life searching for employment. I have called you to seek me, to walk by faith, and to uncover the greatness I placed within you before you were born. For too long you have mistaken survival for success. For too long you have believed your identity depended on a job title or position. But today, God is breaking that lie. He is lifting you into a higher reality. Your worth is not determined by what you do for men, but by who you are in Him. Jobs are created by men to keep you within their systems, but purpose is created by God to make you function within His kingdom. and his kingdom does not operate like earthly systems. In the systems of men, you must fight for acceptance, but in God's kingdom, you are already chosen. In the systems of men, you climb ladders for promotion, but in the kingdom, promotion comes directly from his hand. In the systems of men, you are replaceable, but in the kingdom, you are irreplaceable. That's why your spirit feels restless in ordinary jobs. Why you feel confined. Why no position seems to satisfy you. Because your spirit was not made to be caged. It was created to soar with divine vision. God is saying to you, stop seeking what confines you. Start pursuing what I designed to release you. That is the difference between a job and a calling. A job drains you, but a calling fills you. A job takes from you, but a calling releases what's within you. A job is temporary, but a calling is eternal. When you align with God's calling, provision will follow you like a shadow. Opportunities will find you instead of you finding them. Blessings will overtake you, for it is written, those who trust in the Lord shall be like a tree planted by rivers of water, bearing fruit in every season. That fruit is not the paycheck of labor. It is the fruit of obedience, the fruit of purpose, and the fruit of walking with God as your source. You may say, but people will not understand. They will call me careless for not chasing a job. And God answers, did I call you to follow the world, or did I call you to follow me? The world laughed at Noah until the rain came. They doubted Abraham until the promise appeared. They mocked every prophet until my power was revealed. You cannot live by the approval of men and expect the provision of God at the same time. You must choose whom you will trust, and when you choose God, He will vindicate you before every critic and lift you before every mocker. He will prove that His hand upon you is greater than any system created by man. Let this truth go deeper into your spirit when you pursue jobs. You pursue survival. But when you pursue God, you pursue destiny. Survival is the existence of creatures who live only to eat and breathe another day. But destiny is the life of those who walk with God. They live to reveal His glory, to fulfill His will, and to become vessels of His divine abundance. So the question stands before you. Will you survive like a creature, or will you live like a child of the Most High? God is saying to you, I have placed eternity in your heart. Do not sell it for a wage. I have planted greatness within you. Do not bury it under fear. I have placed light inside you. Do not hide it in the corridors of men's offices. Many of you right now are standing on the edge of a divine breakthrough, but fears held you hostage. You keep whispering, what if I fail? What if it doesn't work? But I tell you, the only real failure is refusing to trust God. The only true loss is living smaller than the life He designed for you. God is not asking you to understand every step. He is not requiring that you have every resource. He is asking you for faith. Faith to believe that if He called you, He will sustain you. Faith to believe that if He gave you a vision, provision is already prepared. Faith to believe that if you walk with Him, you will lack no good thing. And hear this, the enemy trembles when a man or woman stops chasing jobs and starts walking in their divine calling, because jobs keep you busy, but callings make you powerful. Jobs keep you distracted, but callings make you dangerous. Jobs limit your reach, but callings make you unstoppable. That is why the enemy keeps you enslaved by the fear of unemployment. He knows that the moment you break that fear and put your trust completely in God, you will become a weapon in the hands of the Almighty. You will shine with a light that no darkness can extinguish. You will become living proof that God's power is greater than the systems of men. Every man and woman who did mighty things for God had to break free from human systems. Abraham left his homeland without a map. Moses stood before Pharaoh with only a staff. Peter left his nets with no guaranteed income. They stepped into the unknown, trusting only the word of God, and each time, God proved faithful. Now God asks you the same question. Will you dare to trust me the way they did? Will you dare to leave behind the cages men built and walk into the freedom I prepared? Will you dare to stop chasing jobs and start chasing destiny? For you were never called to be ordinary. You were never created to blend in as another worker in the crowd. You were never meant to hide your gifts under the shadow of someone's approval. God marked you for greatness, to stand out, to shine, to lead, to influence, to impact nations. That's why jobs can never fully satisfy you, because you were not created for them. You were created for God, and when this truth awakens in you, fear loses its grip. You will no longer ask, "Who will hire me?" Instead, you will declare, "God has already appointed me." You will no longer worry, "What if I don't get paid?" Instead, you will say, "God is my source, and His supply never fails." You will no longer fear rejection, for you will know that when men close doors, God is preparing a better one. Those who trust in Him are never disappointed. So rise up, break the chains of fear, refuse to bow to the idols of employment, refuse to trade your destiny for survival, refuse to live enslaved to the systems of men. Stand tall as a child of God and declare with boldness, "I will not look for a job. I will look to God. I will not chase wages. I will chase purpose. I will not depend on man. I will depend on God alone." Now hear this word pressing into your spirit. All your life you were told that survival depends on men's approval, on employers' hands, on worldly systems. But today, God has torn down that lie. Today, He calls you to lift your eyes higher, to see beyond salaries and wages, to see the vastness of His provision and the greatness of His purpose. You are not an accident wandering this earth desperate for work. You are a vessel carrying divine gifts this world cannot contain. You are not here to beg for opportunities. You are here to manifest what God placed inside you. You are not here to chase jobs. You are here to walk in the calling of God, a calling that no man can cancel, a destiny that no system can block, a purpose that no rejection can erase. And if you dare to trust Him, if you dare to shift your dependence from man to God, your life will never be ordinary again. You will see provision flow from unexpected places. You will see doors open where there were only walls. You will see rivers spring up in deserts. You will see miracles in your daily bread. And more than all this, you will know the freedom of walking, not as a servant of men, but as a child of the Most High, sustained by His hand, guided by His voice, empowered by His Spirit. So this is the call of God to you today. Break free. Break free from fear, from doubt, from the chains of survival. Step into the revelation that God alone is your source. Step into the boldness of faith. Step into the destiny prepared for you before the foundation of the world. Do not bury your gift any longer. Do not silence your vision. Do not wait for permission from men. Rise, for God Himself has given you permission. Rise, for God Himself has chosen you. Rise, for God Himself will provide for you. And when you rise, never look back. Do not return to the cage. Do not bow again to the system. Fix your eyes on God and walk with confidence, knowing that if He called you, He will sustain you. Back, for the path behind you is filled with limits, but the path ahead of you is filled with divine possibilities. God is saying, "If I sent you, I will equip you. If I planted you, you will bear fruit in every season. If I called you, I will provide for you." You do not need to fear the unknown, because God never sends without supply. He never commands without covering. He never appoints without anointing. Let this word burn in your heart like fire. Do not look for a job. Look for me. For when you seek Him first, all other things will be added. When you fix your eyes on Him, He will make streams flow out of the dry places. When you obey His voice, He will bring people, resources, and opportunities that no Afe could ever open. This is not just a message. It's a divine invitation. God is calling you into partnership with Him. He wants to do business through you, not just for you. He wants to make your life a stage for His provision, your story a platform for His faithfulness. He wants the world to look at you and say, "Surely, this is what it looks like when God provides." So today, stand up in faith. Stop mourning over closed doors. Stop begging for acceptance from those who cannot see your value. Stop shrinking your dreams to fit into systems that were never designed for you. Lift your head. Square your shoulders. You are a child of the King, and your Father owns the earth and all that is in it. If you will trust Him above all else, above paychecks, above titles, above the opinions of men, you will not only see your life transformed, But you will become a living testimony that God is faithful, that God provides, and that God never fails those who put their trust in Him. So choose today. Will you stay bound to men, or will you walk in the freedom of God? Will you keep chasing survival, or will you step into destiny? The choice is yours. The call is clear. Step forward in faith and never look back.